I doubt you'll need anything else. Welcome back to Fire Emblem Path of Radiance's run through the trial maps. We're now into the trial maps exclusive to GBA Link Up. Desperation requires you to connect either Sacred Stones or Blazing Sword, although in the Japanese version you had to link up with Binding Blade, so you needed even more games to unlock all the trial maps in that version. Anyway, Desperation is a pretty simple map. As you can see, the map is directly based off of the one of Chapter 18. In fact, it's identical to the one in Chapter 18, with one twist. This is an Arrive map, and to get an A rank in Tactics, you need to beat it in 11 turns. And you need to kill 53 enemies for the maximum rank in battle. Now, this map is very easy to get AAA rank in, because initially there are 47 enemies, and batches of 3 reinforcements spawn on turn 2 and turn 5, and they're positioned in such a way that you'll always run into them if you're going for the escape point. So, if you just move down this map, killing everything in your path, you should definitely get a AAA rank here. And the bare minimum turns is 5, way less than the A rank tactics requirement. So, this is one of the few trial maps that's possible to do as a speed run and still get a perfect ranking on. Also, this, I believe, is the first trial map to have feral ones on it. So yes, we're doing this in reverse this time. We're starting where the Ravens did in Chapter 18. We have some enemies here. They are still kind of strong, but not as strong as the ones in Strange Turn. But yeah, like I said, there are feral ones here. This is the first time where, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're feral ones. First time we're dealing with Lagoos in a trial map. The chests are also all gone, so you don't need to bring Volk here. There are some enemies past the escape point, though, and obviously there are a few siege tomes, though not nearly as much as there are on... Actually, wait a minute, I think there are as many siege tomes. In fact, there are even more siege tomes than there are on Maniac Chapter 18. So anyway, who to bring here? Well, firstly, I'm going to introduce our trial map guest character this time, who is, on this file, the last character that I've unlocked, so I can't show the final 2 trial map characters because their unlock requirements are downright stupid, but I am able to show them. Petrine. I accidentally leaked this character in the last episode, so I guess I have to show them now, though I was planning on showing them anyway. For completing the game 7 times, so by now you're probably realizing how ridiculous these requirements are, you unlock Petrine for the trial maps. And she's one of the few secret characters who's actually decent. She comes with her hard mode base stats, although they're only a few points above her normal base stats. An extra flame lance and an elixir. Her 18 magic means she does do decent damage with the flame lance, but really the best thing about Petrine is that you can actually give her weapons besides that. Something she couldn't have when fighting you in the main story. Quite a lot of weapons, actually, because she starts with an S in lances and an A in axes, meaning that she can use every lance and axe in the game. And she's also a paladin in a game where paladins are broken. While her stats might not be as good as some of the paladins you can train during the main story, she is very good by the standards of trial map characters, and her speed is surprisingly good enough to double a lot of enemies. Getting Petrine means you also get to play around with having the Daunt skill on your side. You never get a scroll for this during the main game, it's exclusive to bosses. Daunt lowers the hit rate and critical rate of all enemies within 3 spaces of Petrine by 5. The hit rate modifier is not likely to be that big of a deal, though it can help allies who are in support range become almost invincible. But the penalty to critical can be a good safeguard against bad luck, well, for enemies who aren't swordmasters, snipers, or berserkers, that is. In particular, it makes Petrine a decent counter to thunder magic. Petrine also has one other fun feature that you'll see me discover once I begin the trial map. And I think I might actually bring Petrine to this map, because her stats aren't terrible, so let's choose our units here. You know what, I might want to see her here again. We have room, might as well bring this time. I've actually used Jill quite a bit, maybe no Jill this time. Let's go for Titania, and let's go ahead and bring Petrine. I haven't used Titania all that much in the trial maps, is the main reason why I'm going to be bringing her here. As for other people, yeah, I haven't really... I've used Nephany quite a bit, so maybe no Nephany this time, and maybe let's bring... I used Stefan once, he could be useful against the Warriors. Or I could bring Nasala here. I have used Nasala for 2 and Stefan for only 1, so I want to show off as much of my team as possible for these trial maps. Nasir will hang back for a bit. And unfortunately, Ike is stuck very far back, trailing behind. Might need to use Racing to get him a bit further forward. And I think this should be pretty much fine. Can't quite get up to where these Warriors are, and I don't really want them shooting Stefan with bows, especially not the snipers, so I might want to lead the charge with these two. Also, though, finally, Petrine can equip a decent weapon. And she does have a very good rank in axes as well as lances, so I can... that's kind of blasphemy, seeing as I made that weapon for Jill, but I guess I'll do that. Okay, so let's move out. In fact, I just realized from here on, every trial map is a direct copy of a map from the main story, so they kind of got lazy for these. Okay, Petrine does take a fair amount of damage from you guys. She can use a ranged axe. Oh wow, she still has a battle theme? I forgot she still had a battle theme. That's really cool. As you can probably tell, I've never used Petrine in a trial map before, so... Wow, I can't believe she still comes with a battle theme. In fact, if I'm remembering correctly, I think the trial map characters in FE6 came with their boss themes as well, but that is really awesome. So yeah, I'm learning something new every day. Again, I did not realize Petrine came with her battle theme. I still don't like her battle theme as much as most other characters, like as much as many of the other powerful foe themes in this game. Let's leave you untransformed for now. Still, that is very cool. I can't believe I'd never done that before. And that means that the next trial map bonus character will also come with the same battle theme. Shame Ina loses that when she becomes playable, but then again, when she becomes playable, she loses, well, any semblance of decency. I wonder if Petrine's battle theme still works on the enemy phase. And yeah, from a purely objective standpoint, let's find out. Yes, she still has a battle theme. Nice! That is really cool. The overriding boss theme. Just like that. I mean, I've never played Super Robot Wars, but apparently there's one character in Super Robot Wars who starts out as a boss, and they forgot to switch his music to have playable character priority instead of boss character priority when he joins, so his theme ends up overriding everything else in the game, and that became a meme. Kind of reminds me of that. Super Robot Wars does sound kind of interesting. It's a strategy RPG, apparently, that recreates battles from a lot of famous mecha anime. The one game I'd probably be most interested in is the one that apparently has the power plant battle from Rebuild of Evangelion 1.11, which, like, I really like Rebuild of Evangelion, although, admittedly, I haven't seen 3.33 yet, because I've heard that it's really depressing, but I watched the first one. I never watched the original Evangelion anime, but I like the Rebuild movies. And that battle scene with the giant mecha sniper rifle was pretty cool. So actually, like, having a reenactment of that in a game would be pretty amazing. Except apparently it's one of the most difficult chapters in the game because you have to protect Shinji's Ava from being attacked because he's focused on sniping. Anyway. Can't quite get into range, but the other benefit of Petrine is one of the few instances of you actually being able to have Daunt on your side. Can't quite reach there, though. Knock, knock. Who's there? The interrupting boss theme. The interrupting boss theme who? The interrupting boss theme... Plus, you know, Petrine has that cool black and gold look going on, which is always awesome. You know, I might want to bring this Seer closer to the front lines, because if I do, and I just realized now I can't shove Soren into attack range of things, because if I do, he'll be luring in a lot of the siege tomes. Moving Soren up here without Ike's support is probably not a good idea, but I can at least try. Okay, now you're forming a wall around anyone behind you. Let's just heal Petrine. It would be really ironic if she ended up dying to a feral one. Yeah, I just want to make it clear, I still hate Petrine from a story standpoint, but it's kind of fun using boss characters in the trial maps. And Petrine is one of the few who has competent stats, but mostly because she has her hard mode stats rather than her normal mode ones. I feel like those generals don't move. It looks as though they don't move. Which makes perfect sense, they're trying to block you after all. And that's why I sent Nasir down here. Even bolting is probably not going to be much of a threat to him. In fact, I'd like it to damage him a little bit, because if he goes into resolve, that'd be great. But he doesn't seem to want to get hit by things. And sadly, no resolve, so you're probably not going to double the Swordmaster. Although, we never know. Swordmasters here aren't nearly as fast as the ones in Strange Turn, and no doubling. Okay, we're getting into a bit of a traffic jam situation at this point, but seeing as I have to kill everything on the map anyway for the perfect ranking... There's a lot of enemies moving forward here. And yeah, that's the first batch of reinforcements. Those spawn at the end of enemy phase turn 2. At the end of turn 5, we'll get the same batch of reinforcements, and it's always 3 paladins. So like I said, because they spawn all the way out there, you are guaranteed to run into them if you're just going through this map normally. So, you're pretty likely to get the perfect battle ranking. All you need to do is kill 2 waves of reinforcements, so 6 additional enemies. And that's really not hard. Ike, you are too far back, you need to start getting further forward. Yeah, I'll take out you now. Finally ethering in the trial map, I see, because you didn't ether at all during Strange Turn, although I mostly used you at range, so I guess I'm at fault there. And I still have an extra... no, I don't have an extra Laguz Axe in Titania. And that's not enough. Let's just smash you then. The population of Axeville is getting larger. Yeah, speaking of that, I still feel like Zeke probably has the most... Like, I like Zeke's voice acting the best out of everyone in that game. I still think the voice acting in Xenoblade 2 isn't nearly as bad as a lot of people say it is. But then again, I've heard far, far worse. Chaos Wars. If any of you have not seen the beauty that is Chaos Wars, please do. But you might want to buy some brain bleach for afterwards, because... yeah, it goes beyond horrible voice acting and just into the territory of... It's like... We're doubling a Swordmaster, that's pretty cool. It goes into the territory of the voice acting equivalent of an Eldritch Abomination. It's just, it's something to behold. It's really something. Most of it is just pretty hilarious, but I admit the one that's the most painful by far is when I got... like, seriously, there's what is supposed to be a child character, and they clearly got a child who has not only no acting experience, but who can barely even read to voice him, and that's one of the few voices in Chaos Wars that I find is just not even so bad it's good, it's just so bad it's disgustingly painful, but, yeah, that is a thing that exists in that game. That is the game that's, but how do I get back to Tokyo comes from. And a rare instance of Petrine's Flame Lance actually being useful. That's probably not going to kill. Yes, it is. Nice. Petrine actually made good on her threat to cook someone alive in their armor for once. You do have Daunt, but even then... However, Nasir does have Provoke. This is going to mean a lot of snipers will just dogpile on him, though. Transform gauge. And thank goodness for White Dragon Breath being considered physical in this game. Even if it was magical, though, this guy would still probably die. Because even magic users in this game have pretty terrible resistance. Kind of the inverse of Radiant Dawn, where even physical users have pretty decent resistance, and that's one of the reasons why mages suck. Okay, you do have a spear. Okay, you will not be able to canto out of the way. How much damage do you do to Mist? And Mist could still get hit by Siege Tomes, which do about 10 damage to her. Nah, not going for that. Let's not do that, because obviously that puts her a little closer to resolve. Some people wondered whether the later trial maps would have different map themes, but I love this map theme. I hope you're enjoying it too. It's a really good song. Like almost the entire soundtrack of Fire Emblem 4. The arranged soundtrack of Fire Emblem 4 is great as well. Both the original and the arranged soundtrack are great, but there are some tracks on the arranged soundtrack that are just amazing. I love what they did with the Chapter 7 theme there. The desert. That one sounds really good in the arranged soundtrack, and the final chapter theme in the arranged soundtrack is really amazing. Yeah, they're just trying to block us at this point. But we have 11 turns to get out, which is just insanely, insanely generous. That's a really big traffic jam, though. Once Rayson transforms, though, things will be, and that will be next turn, which is good. Okay, Nasir kinda has to kill one of you. But yeah, I did say that, when I did this map originally in the main story, I like how it does seem to be, because I saw another playthrough lately where a lot of people, not a lot of people, the people who were commentating really didn't like this map, but I like how the tight confines basically teach you how to use Rayson's chant for 4 characters ability. Well, you're making up for not ethering earlier. But it's kind of too little too late. Let's see, I need to kill you. Let's just do that. Because hopefully this will still miss. Unfortunately, I just realized that Miss can't kill you at all with the Sonic Sword because her magic is capped, so she's not doing any more damage than this. If only you'd rolled 1 less resistance. Let's see what Stefan can do in this situation. That's actually not a guaranteed kill either. It's pretty likely, but not guaranteed. And there we go. I was about to say I'd have to get no crits and no Astros on both attacks, but one of them was a crit and that was enough. I was about to say who hits harder, you or Petrine, but they both hit pretty much the same amount. I should probably be trading around your face. Always happens when you name a forged weapon something weird, you get some very strange sentences when you discuss it. can still only race in one person this turn. And now I'm thinking I will hit this general and then Kanto, because I just want to hear Petrine battle him again. It's not often you get a boss theme on your side. Actually, in Radiant Dawn, you kind of do, but that's an issue that I'll be talking about there. Okay, I can only... Yeah, it's either Mist or Nasir, so we all know who I'm chanting for. He is gonna untransform soon, but maybe that might be a blessing in disguise, because then... actually, he's pretty close to... Actually, most of you can't quite reach him, because this corner is wider than I expected. Now let me use my light bracelets on you. So I think it was an early Final Fantasy Tactics translation that mistranslated breath as bracelets, which I can kind of see where they got that from, because buretsu, which would be breath in Japanese, but it also results in the hilarity of the assassin instant death skill being called Stop Bracelets. Apparently everyone wears life-preserving bracelets in that universe, and assassins have the ability to stop them. Wow, the generic Paladin axe animation is really slow. I forgot how slow that was. And that's untransformed. There we go. Are the benefits of Path of Radiance era transform gauge depletion rather than Radiant Dawn era transform gauge depletion, which is way too punishing. Even the hand axe animations are pretty slow on generic Paladins. But that's only compared to Titania, because Titania has her own custom battle animations, and they are literally the fastest battle animations in the game. That's still not resolved. Not sure why Titania, of all people, has the fastest animation speed in the game, but she does. And male swordmasters have considerably faster animations than female swordmasters. For reasons, although still not as strange as... I know that I keep going back to Radiant Dawn, I really should stop doing that, but how in Radiant Dawn, male swordmasters can reach an SS rank in swords and females can't. Which I still think the only reason why they did that was because they planned to have Stefan recruitable way earlier than he actually is in the final game. Not doubling, unfortunately. Yeah, Petrine still doubles quite a lot of things, even with her, her decent but not fantastic stats. She is slowing this down quite a lot, thanks to her slow animations, though. I was about to say she is the only time we'll see generic Paladin animations for a female, then I realized Astrid exists. That was kind of dumb forgetting her. It's also really, really frustrating to see Stefan stuck at 84 experience off of his next level and not being able to level up because of... You have bow as well. Not being able to level up because of... trial maps. Don't need to worry about breaking this now, though, because, once again, trial maps. Never really got around to playing a lot of the trial maps in FE6, but that's probably because I don't like FE6 very much. But some of them were interesting, and some of the trial map characters in that game were bad, and some of them were characters you never saw fight during the main story, like Eliwood and Hector, although they were a paladin and a general in that game, because their specific classes from FE6 didn't exist. Just realized that I can see, like, tile textures on the floor now. Didn't notice that before. 25. Well, that's annoying. I'm going to have to double team you with Icon Mist. Yeah, I was wondering for a second why Miss had a higher hit rate here, and then I realized, oh right, she has a support with Titania, so she's getting the benefits of that. +2 defense isn't bad. Yeah, that mostly comes from her water affinity. Could potentially get Nasir into... Also, where can racing go? I may be able to chant for 4 people here. We just need to be careful of racing. Okay, good, you're gone. Now you go here. Magoo Stone. And now it's time for 4 people to be chantified. Okay, so step 1 is to do this. And yeah, Thunder Magic effective against fire, even though this guy can't counterattack. I still like to remember this by considering Thunder to be axes, fire to be lances, and wind to be swords. And I think they're lumped into the same categories in Heroes, although Light Magic in that game is lumped into Blue. I don't like that crit rate. Kind of appreciate if you crit me, though. No, but that is one closer to being in Resolve. I should probably heal Petrine too, because if she gets bombarded by Siege Tomes, that might not end well. What's her resistance like, actually? 19 resistance is not bad. Don't know if those sages move or not. I think for now I'll just keep Stefan back. In fact, yeah, Stefan and Soren have a support. So Soren is in range of a support, despite not being in range of his best support. Keep forgetting that I've supported Soren and Stefan. I should keep them near each other more often. Oh great, you have ranged weapons. Of course you do. I should have checked your equipment more carefully. Still stupid how Dragon Lagoons don't have 1-2 range in this game. Yeah, I knew you would also have a ranged weapon. Gotta check what turn we're up to, too. We're definitely up to 5 now. That's a little better, but I'm not in Resolve, so you're probably not going to die. Unless you're one of those really slow Sword Masters that we saw earlier, like 23 speed Sword Masters. You are not. And there's the second batch of Paladins, so... yeah, this is the earliest you can complete the map and get a perfect ranking, so 6 turns. Might need to hurry up a little bit, because... yeah, we still have most of the map to cross. Okay, I can get to you, so I should use Soren somewhere else. Now, you are a 23 speed Sword Master, it's just that Nasir can't double you because he's not fast enough to until he triggers Resolve. But one thing that was pointed out to me in comments that I thought would be interesting that I just want to mention here, because it generally sounds like a pretty good idea that I wish they'd done. So, they said that, you know, so with the GBA link-up, all you do is you unlock extra trial map, but they thought, why not do one further and have linking up with GBA games unlock, say, characters like Eliwood, Hector, Erica, or Ephraim as trial map bonus characters for this game? I mean, that would have meant the artists would need to create battle sprites and, like, portraits for them. But that is a really cool idea, and would have been genuinely pretty awesome. But at this point in the series, they were keeping every Fire Emblem universe separate. They weren't really doing any of that multiverse stuff they later did, starting with Awakening. But it would have been a cool idea, just unlocking characters from the GBA games as trial map bonus characters. via GBA link-up, it would have definitely been a more interesting reward for GBA link-up than just unlocking some extra maps that, let's be honest, don't have anything to do with the GBA games. Like, these maps could have been recreations of GBA maps as well, which would have also been awesome. Like, imagine if you had Cog of Destiny recreated in Path of Radiance's engine, or something like that. But, sadly, no. Was not the case. Yeah, it's not really my place to dwell on what developers couldn't have done. Okay, if I move this here... I have an idea. I could get 4 people chanted for. And... non-wrath crit again. So I'm going to have Petrine move up, throw something at this warrior, preferably sharp objects, like that awesome... Okay, the Flame Lance does more, but this has a better chance of a critical, so I'll go for this. And then I'll Canto her backwards to the point where I can chant for Ike, her, and I think Soren is over there, or is it Stefan? Okay, no, that's Titania. There's... Yeah, that there is probably my best option. Also, obligatory mention of the fact that this is an Arrive chapter, so it doesn't matter who hits the endpoint as long as someone does. You can go all the way over there. Can you? No. No again. So I guess you'll do, for now, you'll do this. Because then Ike will take out the second Paladin. And Petrine could try for the third. How many enemies do we have left on the map? 22. This probably would be going faster if I had Jill, but I've already used Jill for every trial map until now. And there's my 1 HP recovered. Yeah, I guess they would do that, introducing past characters via, well, firstly Awakenings DLC, and then also things like the amiibo characters in... Petrine's Flame Lance is actually pretty good. Yeah, the amiibo characters in Echoes. I just realized there's something that I could talk about regarding the amiibo characters in Echoes, but that would be a huge Radiant Dawn spoiler, so I won't go into that until then. But I still think it's weird, like, their decisions for, let's just say, which amiibo character... Please tell me Raison's not in range of anyone. Oh, great, you're running back to heal. Like, which amiibo characters were given a certain ability. Because the fact they gave that at Please Don't Hit... Oh, well, you hit, but you did barely anything. Guess Petrine's Flame Lance is protecting her from the ice. So she's sort of using it like a Breath of the Wild fire sword. Always the... Not quite in Resolve. Always the best use of fire swords in that game is not for damage, but for warming you up in cold areas. The TV tropes will call that mundane utility. Used well, I find mundane utility a very fun concept in a lot of games. Like how at least in the 3DS remake of Majora's Mask, you can use the Fierce Deity Mask to help you with fishing, which is amazing. That's also part of why I really want to actually, like, play a real D&D campaign someday, because one thing that I think is really interesting in that game is just the sheer amount of creative potential in all the spells. Because a lot of the spells have very obvious combat applications, but the difference between D&D and, like, let's say an actual RPG video game is that in an RPG video game, you can only use spells for their specifically defined purposes, whereas in D&D, your imagination's the limit. You can just, like, if you can come up with a really creative use for Like, every spell has some potentially really interesting story applications if you can just think about them. I'm trying to think what my favorite application of that on Critical Role is, but, I don't know, that might be spoilers. I know there's been some pretty creative uses of certain types of magic in that campaign. Off the top of my head, one that comes to mind is using telekinesis to boost the speed of an arrow into a switch that was almost impossible to hit. But yeah, there's a lot of really creative things you can do with magic in a system like that. You won't be able to canto back into range of racing if I do that, unfortunately. And I'm wishing that you could shove Soren, because then I could get 3 people, but no. Okay, I could take out the bolting guy, but that will result in Petrine getting dogpiled by a lot of enemies, and that's not good, so let's hang back for now. And here's some boss music. With how amazing Stefan's boss conversations are and how much they make it sound like he should be the boss instead, I really feel like Stefan should be getting his own boss theme by now, but sadly he does not. Gotta check Nasia's transform gauge though, 7. Yeah, and that is potentially really bad. Let's not do that. I guess I should eliminate these generals as much as possible because they don't move. They're mainly here as roadblocks. Please hit me, because that would allow me to go on a Wrath Resolve rampage. And sometimes I have to tell myself that you lose transform gauge per fight, not per attack. So attacking twice won't consume double transform gauge. Let me guess, you have a ranged weapon. Yes, you do. Gotta actually check that this time. There are so many siege tomes here, but that's just like this chapter on Maniac mode. I see you running. I'm gonna catch up to you eventually. And here's where I'm wishing that... Okay, that's actually probably bad, I just realized, because weakness, but no. Nice dodge there. I would like you to get hit by something, though, at least. Apparently not. Apparently not again. There's going to be 2 more, actually 3 more, aren't there? Because there's 3 down the bottom. Although it doesn't seem like they want to attack you unless you... Okay, finally, there you are. Now you're attacking me. Okay, there we go. Now you're resolved, and now none of the other siege tomes are going to hit you, except you're transformed. Huh, went for Ike. Maybe Nasia was not in range. That would have been great if I was transformed, but I'm not. Ow. You actually hit me under resolve. Oh, crap. Please miss. That is really bad, actually. Because a lot of the enemies here can actually damage Nasia even under the effects of... Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys have ridiculous hit rates. No wonder you hit there. Does Petrine W, though? Yes, she does. And I heard that for a second as does Petrine W, as in the letter W, which, is kind of like how in Japanese they use the letter W as a shorthand for double, because they're pronounced almost identical in Japanese. And so many game translations just completely botched that because early translators were idiots, apparently, and just didn't do their research. Because, like, even Final Fantasy VII has W item, or W materia. But it's meant to be double. I mean, you could blame that on space constraints, but you could have just replaced it with 2 times, like, item or something like that. But it's just amazing how much people didn't know about the way the Japanese language works back then. I mean, I guess, like, to someone who doesn't know about Japanese, it's not that obvious that the letter W is used as shorthand for... And I have a 100% hit rate with an axe against a Swordmaster. That is insane, although this is, like, the maximum forging of accuracy of this weapon. That's a weird way to word that. I've seen the W mistake show up quite a lot. Okay, I think I will... Yeah, let's have you go back and let's have Race Enchant for 3 of you. Not really sure what to do about Nasir at this point. Because if I... Yeah, let's just do this first, I guess. Because if I heal him, he's going to be out of resolve, but if I don't heal him, he may actually die to some of these enemies. Okay, you don't kill this tiger. And Petrine does, so let's do that. But let's do that with relative safety by doing this. I was about to say that maybe this chapter is like Petrine extracting her revenge on the soldiers in this fort who failed her, but her working alongside the Grail mercenaries doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, it's best not to question the logic when it comes to trial map characters and their reasons for existing. At this point, I don't think any extra reinforcements have spawned besides the first 2 sets, and that means I still have to kill everything that is currently present on the map in order to secure my AAA rank, which includes those 3 Siege Tome stages. Yeah, let's just do that, I guess. It's probably worse than not getting Astra there, but still. Okay, you two are, if I go for... Yeah, you can all actually damage Nasir, so I'm taking a really big risk if I have him. Does anyone have a spare vulnerary or something? No, looks of it, that's not exactly what I want. Stefan does. But I can't use a vulnerary and the Lagoon Stone at the same turn, or I could equip the Demi-Band. That would make his defenses worse, though. And his speed worse. This could be a problem. But I can get rid of you. And that was a crit. Kind of wish long-range tomes had a separate animation for criticals, but doesn't seem like they do. Going up to 39 HP is not bad, actually. Also, Ike hasn't moved. Need to remember that. I forgot he hadn't moved. I suppose I can double heal. And let's just use Fortify, not Ashura, because I actually want Nasir's HP to be a little lower. And now, I guess I'll get rid of another Meteor Sage. Even though they're really not all that much of a threat to us if they're all just hitting Nasir. Yeah, Ike is really compensating for his bad ether performance in the earlier trial maps. But we're almost out of here. Hopefully before turn 11. And now everyone here is completely blocked off. And you're still healing. So I kind of want this to hit thanks to Resolve. Which did, but barely did any damage. Need to watch out for those things cantering though. Oh, and the generals will attack you if you're in range of them, obviously. Which is a good thing, because they won't seek you out by moving, so... good to let them weaken themselves a little bit on the enemy phase here. Okay, you are bolting. Ah, and I would have wanted that to hit, because that would have activated Resolve. And I would have wanted that to hit as well. Because you are just barely not dying to non-resolveness here. Okay, this should hit. Please hit. Actually, that probably would have done nothing because Blizzard. Yeah, you're definitely not going to die. Oh, that's probably slightly out of resolve. I mean, I could have taken a risk and left him on 3 HP, but that might not have ended well. Petrine can't quite get in range. Guess I'll just have Ike finish you off here. I don't think Soren has enough bolting uses to snipe another Siege Tome Sage. Could get rid of you, but I'll instead quote the Joker and say, come on, I want you to hit me, hit me, hit me. Please hit me. No. Don't you just hate it when you actually want your characters to take damage? Guess this is one of those times where you should be grateful that Heroes doesn't have RNG, because there are a lot of skills in that game that rely on you being at a certain HP threshold, so your inability to dodge things is kind of a benefit there. RIP Potion Addicted Paladin. Oh, you have 2 boltings. So I can snipe 1 more. And Adept. Not that it's necessary. And Rayson also has an extra Blizzard Tome, so I could trade that over to Soren if I wanted. This is also going to leave you on 1 HP, which is annoying, but I'm probably not going to be able to Kanto back into Rayson range. Please solve critical. Yes! And yeah, not nearly enough movement to Kanto back near Soren. Exactly enough with 2 shots, might as well do that. So we're almost done with this map. Definitely took longer than some of the other trial maps. But it's pretty easy. You just casually go through the whole map, smashing everything in your path, and you really don't need to worry about the turn limit, although I am getting pretty close to the turn limit, just saying. See, I need to kill these 3, both of these sages, but not these 3 paladins. And if you're the only one who's hurt, I'm not healing you. Yeah, let's go ahead and swap that over. Do have a rescue staff that I should have been using more often in the trial maps now that I think about it, but oh well, hindsight and all that. Okay, I could do this, but that's not a good idea. Don't want to risk miss like... I just noticed something. There are a few solutions to this problem. Solution number 1, move Mist there. Pro, it means potentially more things die on the enemy phase. Con, it means Mist is in major danger unless she gets very lucky. Number 2, move Mist over to Rayson, trade the rescue staff over to Mist, and then have Mist rescue Rayson a little bit further back. Pro, it means Rayson is fine for a little bit longer, and it means Mist isn't risked. Con, yeah, the con is that Mist could very easily be in danger, and it also might not work. Okay, so for now, I'm actually going to be doing this. I'm going to pray that Mist dodges and that Provoke with Nasia works, but usually someone as defensively weak as Mist ends up trumping Provoke. Guess I'll go for the one who does the most damage to Mist. Well, the sword has the highest chance of hitting, so it was a bit of a toss-up, but let's Blizzard you out of the way. Okay, I hope Mist gets to the hero here, except one of the paladins just decided to run, which is actually a bit of a problem because I need to end this map quickly, and you're one of the enemies who needs to die. And yes, remember that you can go past the arrive point. You don't have to stop on it, so of course the only things that can reach Nasia at this turn are ranged attackers. And he's still refusing to get into resolve range. Okay, so I have 2 more turns left to do this. I should be fine, but hopefully things go well. Exactly enough, nice. In fact, Rayson might be able to get me a good number of kills this turn. Kind of a shame that Petrine can't have Soul. But she does have the exclusive Daunt skill, though. Just as a sneak preview, though, you will be able to obtain Daunt naturally in Radiant Dawn. And that stacks very well with a double Earth Affinity support. That's really fun. No, not Blizzard. Let's use Indignation. At this point, I'm starting to think that maybe I should have, because for this playthrough, I needed a lot of backup files in case things went wrong and I needed to re-record chapters, so this game doesn't let you have that many files, and because of that, I ended up... Doesn't look like I can get 4 chance this turn. I ended up needing to delete a lot of my older files. I kept my very first file because I like to keep that there just for sentimental reasons, and also it meant that I actually got to show the ridiculous kill streak Titania went on in my first playthrough. But I just realized if there are only 3 enemies remaining on the map, I might be able to end it this turn. But anyway, like I was saying, I like to keep that one, but I had to delete a lot of other files, including one file where I was using people like Mia and Astrid and Kirin. So I'm kind of sad that I wasn't able to keep that file, because I would have liked to... And yeah, you don't have to arrive, you land on the spot, as you can see. I would have liked to have maybe shown off runs of some of the trial maps with, I don't know, some of my other parties. But I had to delete a lot of those files to make room for backup files, which hopefully won't be the case in Radiant Dawn, because in Radiant Dawn, you have a lot more file slots. But the downside of that is Radiant Dawn does not have trial maps, so there's no point in me showing off much in the way of extra footage, though I will need to show off something from an alternate file. Something that some people might find interesting. I'll give you a hint. The most obscure character in the entire Fire Emblem series. And I don't mean in terms of playable characters. It's an alternate boss for a certain chapter. I will be sure to show them, because they're interesting. Just for how out of the way you have to go to make them even show up. There's only one enemy left, and I've already destroyed several waves of reinforcements. I should be fine to end this now, and why not? Let's have Petrine in the map. Please let that be a AAA rank. Yes, that was a AAA rank. So, like I said, that's in my opinion the easiest trial map to get a AAA rank on. So, thank you for watching Desperation, and next time we have a very... might be one of the second hardest trial maps in my opinion, only for one very specific reason. This next trial map combines multiple siege tomes with sleep starves, and remember that if you fall asleep, attacks against you have 100% accuracy. You can see where that is going, so look forward to how I deal with that next time.